Hey, good morning. Just a quick one this morning. Uh, I've got somewhere to be and people to meet, things to do. So what came up this morning was I saw a post a friend of mine, Stephen Palmer, had posted about happy and, you know, why some people were happy and other people weren't. And even if they had immense success in the monetary world or the business world, or they often weren't happy. And what came to me is that um, sometimes we compare. We compare who we think we are with who we think somebody else is, and it's hilarious, really, when you think of it. I mean, just think of it, just for a minute, just like we don't even know who we are. We're just our stories in this persona. We're just our stories. We're just the idea we've made up about ourselves, or people have told us about us. We don't really know who we are. We're a name, or we think we're Canadian, or we think we're North American, or whatever, but we really don't know who we are. So here we are, not knowing who we are, comparing ourselves to who we think others are, and then we're unhappy. It is hilarious, isn't it? So just watch. I mean, a lot of what I'm, hoping to share is called consciousness. Be self-aware. Watch when this comes up and we see ourselves as less than, or more than, better than, or unworthy of love, or all of those things. It's a comparison. It's a, whatever the benchmark is. If we've somehow judged ourselves to have fallen below it, or yeah, mind. Watch the mind, because the mind is always measuring, and always, uh, and it's quietly doing it. So you have to be diligent to watch, and eventually, when you see it, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm not that. I'm not my mind. I'm What am I then if I'm not my mind? And then the opportunity comes to surrender into this oneness that we live in, this universal intelligence, God, the whole, because it's much bigger than us, much bigger than us, but we are it. So watch as the thing unfolds around us, as we're judging and making meaning, and thinking we understand what's going on around us, or who these people are, and we do it all the time. We judge whole groups of people. We're better than them, or less than them. So anyway, the idea is just to become aware, and through awareness comes the shift. It's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. I've spent my whole life, and you'll see this. You've spent your whole life judging others and judging yourself, and there is no yourself. There's the deeper you go into, and I recommend Trevor Thibodeau's doing in the fall, in October, I think, is doing a 3-day enlightenment intensive. Let's do it. Let's do it. It's an amazing opportunity. They ask a question: "Tell me who you are," and it's often called the Satori experience, because we wake up in his enlightenment intensive to the fact that we don't know. We're all just story. Okay, you guys, tell me who you are, and remember, if we don't know who we are, we certainly don't know who anybody else is. Okay, I'm going to read this reading. I'm going to be quick this morning and read the reading, August the 7th, I think. Just like that. It flies. It flies. It flies. August the 7th, the reading for the day. Let's find it. Doo-doo-doo-doo. It's June, July, August the 5th, August the 6th. Be the next day. Okay. So this is from a book called what's it called? 24-Hour Day book. It was written a long time ago, 1954, and I enjoy it because it's a daily reminder, especially for those of us who have dealt with, addictive behavior, and we're actually addicted to the mind. The mind is so subtle, so it's so. What's the word? Persistent, for sure, and it kind of slides in there, and like almost romances us sometimes. And we've been living with it for a long time, so it's like an old relationship. When we get past it, when we wake up to it, we say, no, I'm not my mind. It doesn't mean that we don't still have it, and it's not a tool, but it's not running the show, and we can see past it. It's amazing. Okay, so and that's what happens in recovery, is we wake up in recovery. That's the whole thing. The 12 steps are all about waking up and living a God-centered life, or a present-centered life, or a now-centered life, universal intelligence-centered life, a higher power-centered life, instead of us running the show. Can't manage our own lives, can't trust our crazy mind. Here we go. We, it says, in the 12-step world, are offering an intangible thing. Yes, it is a bit intangible, so it's hard to describe. Intangible thing, a psychological and spiritual program. It's a wonderful program. When we learn to turn to the higher power, to a higher power, and this is what I'm talking about, when we learn to turn to a higher power with faith that that power can give us the strength we need to find our peace of mind. I mean, it's exactly what I was just talking about, because when we're comparing ourselves to others, there's never any peace of mind, ever, ever, ever. When we re-educate our minds by learning to think differently, so that comes out of awareness. We have to watch the mind to surrender. In steps 6 and 7, we let those things go. It's an amazing process of surrender. We find new interests that make life worthwhile. We, who have achieved sobriety through faith in God and mental re-education, are modern miracles. Yes, we are. It is the function of our 12-step program to produce modern miracles. Do I consider the change in my life a modern miracle? Absolutely. Absolutely. Meditation for the day. It says you should never doubt that God's Spirit is always with you. Of course it is. It can't not be. We are in it. This is it. We're like, there's nowhere where God isn't. So don't doubt. Is always with you, wherever you can, wherever you are, to keep you on the right path. God's keeping power is never at fault. Only your realization of it. You must try to believe in God's nearness. You have to try, just believe in God's nearness and the availability of His grace. It is not a question of whether God can provide shelter from the storm, but whether or not you can seek the security of that shelter. That's the deal, guys. That's the deal. Every fear, worry, or doubt is disloyalty to God. We're back living in the ego, back living in the mind. And I don't know about disloyalty, but certainly you know, deciding to crawl when we all know that we can walk, you know, and so we're back on our feet. You must endeavor to trust God wholly. Practice saying, all is going to be well. All is well. All is well. All is well. Thy will be done. Say it to yourself until you feel it deeply. All is well. All is not going to be well. All is well. Thy will be done. Prayer for the day. I pray that I may feel deeply that all is well. I pray that nothing will be able to move me from that deep conviction. And that's a knowingness. I love that. That's a knowingness. Drop into that knowingness of, because of our relationship with this power greater than ourselves. All right, you guys. Love you. I gotta run. Gotta run. So just watch when you compare. Just another little thing of the mind.